Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the world you are. Hope you're doing great. And welcome again with another session with the Microsoft Zero to Hero community. We're so happy to having today's session again. I'll be just adding the cover to our presentation. Yeah, today we have Tiago Costa with us with running HTTP-based applications in Azure PaaS, Azure App Service edition. So you can scan the QR code to have the links to join to the community with the YouTube link, LinkedIn, and also the Learning Room on Microsoft Learn Tech community. So we will have a couple of slides to present and talking a little bit about Microsoft Learn and the community itself, and also about AI skills challenge months. And at the end, we will have the code of conduct, and I will just try to keep it short for several minutes, and then we'll hand over the stage to Tiago Costa. So excited to continue with the session. So we are all known and familiar with Microsoft Learn. We always mention to make it your homepage, since we are all in the same path, and we are so excited, motivated, and enthusiasm to learn more about Microsoft Cloud technologies and AI services, especially with Microsoft in the leading the AI services in the market. So, and the learning rooms are the tech communities hosted within Microsoft Learn, and we are just gathering here together from learners, students to professionals, just to share knowledge, talk about technologies, asking questions, and having sessions all together to sharing experience together. And our next slide is about AI skills challenge. So this is a great opportunity to get and dive into the Microsoft AI Services Board. From fundamentals to advanced, you have the opportunity to register for 4 different modules and get your exam certificate officially within your transcript, which you can share in your socials and mention Microsoft Learn, mention us, and we will be really glad to see your achievements. And for the last slide, we have a code of conduct, being aware of each other and friendly and patient during the session, and opening to all questions and viewpoint and understanding the differences. So thank you so much for joining again. I'm just taking and handing over the stage to Tiago. So hello, Tiago, and thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
I welcome everyone, and like you guys said, good morning or good afternoon, good night for everyone that is joining us today. And I hope that you're going to have fun here. To me, I'll try to make my best of having fun with app services.
No doubt. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tiago, join us. And I hope everyone enjoy, which is no doubt. Take care.
Okay, yeah, okay. Everyone, welcome, and thanks for having me here. And yeah, today I'm going to start talking a little bit about the app services. Basically, to run HTTP based applications, it's definitely one of the coolest services that we have currently on Azure. My name is Tiago. I work as a cloud architect and advisor. I'm a trainer, content creator, and I also speak in a lot of different events out there that they range from local meetup to this kind of sessions online that we have here today. Then also build, ignite, etc. I work as an independent contractor. I have a bunch of Azure certifications. So I was the other day, I was just, trying to see if I could take more certifications. Then I have to see if Microsoft can launch some more because, I can't take more certifications anymore because I have them all. But now we have the applied skills. So I'm kind of doing that. I still have like 4 or 5 that I still don't have. And I'm also a Learn expert, regional lead, MCT, well, a bunch of stuff. And I'm based in the sunny Lisbon, Portugal. And today, and I know that I already noticed some people are there from Portugal. Today we can say it's the sunny Lisbon, Portugal, because we had our 2 days of the year that rains was the last 2 days. But today it's pretty sunny outside. So always pretty nice to see the good weather coming back to Portugal. I'm also a global traveler, so I love to travel. And I've been already in 77 countries, and I hope to do 78 in a few months. That's super excited. I have just in one of my tabs, the flights to buy. I'm just figuring out what's the best route, but that's going to happen. and I have kind of a goal to see that I can reach 100 countries visit in the future. Okay, maybe in a 5-6 year goal. It will take me some time, to get there. So let's start with app services, and what is kind of the challenge that I had from some customers that lead me to create this session. So some time ago, I got a customer that had a request. We have a web application for basically managing our global customer experience, and it's a very just generic application. It's a web app. It comes also with an API. That API is used for mobile apps. We have customers all over the world, but more focusedly on Europe, the US, and Asia. And we have a need. We need to have fast responses across all the regions from all the globe. Currently, what they had was not doing that. That stuff was hosted just in a single country, was hosted in their on-prem environment, and they were actually suffering a lot of timeouts in several countries. Within their country, that was okay, but it could be better, but was fine. But other countries were like super slow. And we need to solve that. And also, this needs to be a solution that needs to be low maintenance and scalable. So when sometimes we have more load, sometimes we have less load. So, we want this to respond to that, because right now what we had is a bunch of servers on-prem that we paid a fortune for all of them, and we actually need to renew it. So we need brand new ones, because these ones will not be under support anymore. And so we have here a bunch of money to invest, and we don't want that. So we want to go to the cloud. And then get back to me, and I said, okay, I did some analytics, got some data from them, and I said, well, your answer is definitely app services. And what is app services, so that everyone here is at speed, with me? So the thing is, it's a service that we have to run HTTP-based applications, okay? Like web apps, like REST APIs. It is fully managed. You can get up to a lot of instances and support several languages or platforms. So this is not, just something that Microsoft built only to run .NET. No, if you have Node, it runs Python, it runs Java, PHP, Ruby. All of this, it is supported, and also supports multiple operating systems. So, for example, Windows and Linux, and even some of those platforms that you see there, like Python, like PHP, they even only run in Linux. So, which is sometimes something that comes out of a surprise for several people, not to me. The approach that Microsoft has with Azure is we'll run this where it runs better, where our customers want us to run. And if they prefer Linux, we'll run this on Linux. That's fine. Okay. And I totally believe, and I'm totally agree, with that approach. So how do we start? We start with app service plans. An app service plan, it's what's going to define the compute that you're going to have. It's what's going to define in which region you're running things, what features do you get, what is the compute capacity that you get. So we can say, this is our app service plan. It's going to have a certain performance, and we're going to see some of the plans that we have available here and do some demos on this. Now, if we are in the dedicated plan, which I hope you get to the dedicated plans, this is what you get. You can run a web app there. You can run 2 web apps there. You can run unlimited web applications inside an app service plan. So there's no limit for this, at least in the service. Of course, there's always a limit, which is those web applications will basically have clients. Clients will do load. Load runs on the servers. Well, that app service plan will have a limited capacity. So, that is what's going to limit the number of web apps we can have. I have an app service plan in production that has more than 200 servers, 200 web applications, and it just runs perfectly. Why? Because those web apps are minimal in terms of traffic, okay? I have other in customers that one web app runs in one app service plan that has, I think, is like 20 different instances. Okay, so it actually depends on the load that we might have. So, but let's talk about that. There's like shared plans that I hope you never use those. Like there's a free. The free is cool for you to learn this, to test it out. No more than that. Even if you want to run something like small for you, I honestly don't advise you the free one. Share it, you already can do custom domains, but then look, you can't do HTTPS on this. So again, even for running something small, it's not the best, let's be honest. So where things they start to be interesting, it's on the dedicated plans. And this is where you have basic, standard, premium. Premium has V1, V2, V3, and they come with different features. I just have some here, and I will highlight some. Custom domains with SSL TLS on the basic, that's good, that's what we want. You can do scaling up to 3 instances, manual scaling. Oh, but I want auto scaling, Tiago. Well, standard. You need to go at least to the standard where, yes, you can start doing auto scaling. You can do more instances. You can do like 10 instances on this. And you have a bunch of other features that, we don't have the time today to talk about them. But yeah, lots of other features. Premium, even more features, okay? And if you go on the V2 and V3, you can even go to 30 different instances nowadays. Okay. And last but not the least, we have the isolated one. The isolated, you can go to more instances even, but more important is that if you have a need to deploy your web application in a private virtual network, so in the Azure VNet, this can natively deploy this to a VNet. It's not using service endpoints or private endpoints. No. It's actually there, okay? So that's pretty cool. So with this, what do we deploy after we have the app service plan taken care? We create a web app. And our web apps, this is definitely one of the fastest ways, if not the fastest way and simpler way to host a web application in the cloud, an API in the cloud. You can have scalability without the need to redeploy this. You can just go on your app service plan and say 2 instances, done. Now you get 2 instances. And you might ask yourselves, what about load balancing, Tiago? You need to create load balancers, load balancer rules, probes, and things like that. No, there's nothing that you have to take care regarding that. The service takes all care of that for you. You can even get integrations from like Visual Studio, VS Code, Azure DevOps, GitHub. There is plenty of options out there, that you can use to do this. We have SSL, TLS support, built-in authentication. There's a bunch of stuff. But better than for me, to be here kind of explaining all this, what about if, we just go on the Azure portal and let's just start to create some stuff. So there you go. So let's go here. Let's create a web app. So I'll just search web apps and I'll get this first option. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create here our web app. So how do I create a web app? Well, first I need to find here a resource. So I'll just say here, hey, AZ 0 to Euro. And I'm just going to call this here 0 to Euro. Let's see if this one is available. It is available. So you need to be careful on this because, this domain needs to be globally unique. So this needs to be globally unique. Okay. Then you have to decide which type of app do you have. Oh, I just have code, or I have a container, or I have a static web app. Well, in my case, I'll just go with code. That's fine. And then, I need to select here which, framework runtime stack basically I have. For example, I'll go with .NET 8. That's what I want to do. And because .NET 8 runs both on Windows and Linux, and also it is supported on Windows and Linux in the app service. So, I have options. I can now choose. If I have chosen, for example, imagine I had an app made on Python 3.12. In this case, as you can see, well, Windows is grayed out, Tiago, but as far as I know, Python runs on Windows too. Well, yeah, you're not wrong. The thing is, the app service team took the decision to not support that on Windows. So, background story, they look at numbers and they saw there's just a minimal number of customers running Python on Windows. We do not need to support this anymore because it's fairly fractional. So yeah, let's just focus our efforts in making Linux even a better, host for Python in app services. And that's what they did. And in my case, my app is .NET 8. And, I can choose between Windows and Linux. For now, let's leave Windows on. Then I need to select here region. And I'll go just select here West Europe, for example. And then there you go. Then I need to create the plan, the app service plan. And this is where, I can create a new one. I can change the price tier of this. And, there is a bunch of different pricing tiers in here. Let's explore the pricing tiers. You can see there's two views here on the top. There's the hardware and the feature views. You can then explore this by yourself. In my case, what I'm going to do is I'm going for the premium P1 v3. So this is the size that I want. Comes with 2 cores, 8 gigs of RAM, and it costs this per month. So I'll zoom and you will see the price, 230 euros. Memorize this, everyone. 230. Repeat after me, okay? So let's select that. Now let's go up. And on the operating system, let me switch to Linux, because .NET 8 runs so well on Linux too. Let me see this. And now, explore the pricing plans. Let me find here the P1 v3. And from 230 euros, we pay 121. So this is, barely like half. Not half, but yeah, I think you give me that, right? It's a big difference, right? Than that we have on this. So even if your application needs a little bit more memory, you can even go to this. Okay, that you get 2 cores and you get the double of the RAM, so 16 gigs of RAM. This is already big for running, a web application. Already can run a very nice web application on this, and you only pay 245. So yeah, just pretty cool. So, but I'm good with this. So let's just go with this. Then look, there's a bunch more features on this. I'm not going to bother you guys with that. There's monitoring, which in my case, I just loaded that window there so that I can say I do not want monitoring. Let's go wild today. No monitoring whatsoever. This is just to speed up the deployment process, to be honest. Of course, you should have monitoring. This uses application insights, and application insights is super cool, and it's super important to have monitoring. Because when stuff works, yeah, you don't need monitoring. But when stuff doesn't work, monitoring is super helpful to actually debug from where the problem is actually coming from. So if everything goes well, this should deploy in like no time. There you go. So see, and we have our web application here. Ta-da! See, super easy. So what I can now do is, after this loads everything here, that's taking ages. Okay, there you go. I can browse this. Okay. When you browse, you're going to see the standard landing page, okay, that we have from App Service, which is this. And nothing fancy in here, okay? But now you might say, hey, Tiago, I really wanted to deploy an app there. Look, it's just, to be honest, super easy. Let's imagine I already have here, a web application, okay? And if you want to deploy this, okay, let's just put something in here. Welcome Azure 020. And this is VS Code. And if I do Control-Shift-P, you can just say, hey, deploy to a web app. And now, you can just select the web app that I have. I need to select, one of my subscriptions that I have, and then select the web app. There is an issue with this, that this is not going to show the web app. Okay, but I just wanted to show you this. Yeah, see, because this always takes some time, so that VS Code actually detects that the app is there. But you could do this, and then you just follow the process and just deploy the web app. This is done, by the way, because I have an extension that's called Azure App Service. Okay, that's why I'm able to do that. And also, you also need this Azure account so that you can sign in into the portal and do that stuff. But that's it. So there you go. So that's done. So now that we have a web app here, but look, I honestly would love to have some other cool features. So let's get back in here and let's see what other features we can have on this. There is a bunch of stuff in configurations. Configurations, you can configure them. They are going to be shown as like environmental variables to your app. And, you can have application settings, you can have connection strings, and you can define all this through, the Azure portal. You can also define custom domains, SSL certificates to your app, and then, just do something with that. But there is even something that is like massively cool. And I'm also going to do this, and I'm going to demo this to you, which is the integration that app services can have with other services, namely with Azure Key Vault. Azure Key Vault, it's another Azure service that we use to store keys, to store encryption keys, to store certificates and secrets. So imagine that I have a scenario where I have an API key that I need to go to a third-party, API. The way that I need to authenticate on that third-party API is through an API key. It's not mine. I don't control how it's done. API keys, it's not the best thing in terms of security, but look, it's what we have. I need to store that API key in the most secure way possible. Well, definitely it's not side by side with my code, probably not as just a standard application, setting. I can use Key Vault and then integrate, Key Vault with my app service, okay? And we'll do that. But for now, let me do another demo here now, but for adding custom domains. So first we're going to do is coming in here and adding, the custom domain part. So I need a custom domain. How do I start? Let me scroll down here and, I have custom domains here. See, there's an option under settings called custom domains. So I click and I see what it does. And I see, well, there's the standard domain here, but there's an option here to add custom domains. So I'm like, let me click there and see what happens, right? Something opens here. And look, domain provider, app service. And so there's even another service called App Service Domains. You can actually buy domains. I don't know if some of you know, but you can actually buy domains in Azure. Before someone does the question here, can I transfer domains into Azure? Not yet. Okay, that's not possible yet. But you can buy new domains inside Azure and then manage those inside Azure and then integrate them in here. There's just a big catch with this, that they need to be in the same subscription to show up in here. Okay, so yeah, well, I really wanted to have that stuff solved because, for example, I have a domain that I'm going to use. It was bought in Azure, but it doesn't show up in here. So I have to say all other domains, and I need to say in here what I want. So let's just say, azdemo.azcontoso.com. This is the domain, and that I want for my web application. So I own azcontoso.com. It's a domain that I bought. It's mine. So what this is telling me is that, you need to prove that that's yours, Tiago. So you need to add 2 records in your DNS, which is a CNAME and a text record. So I'm like, okay, let's do that then. Let me open another tab here with the Azure portal so that we can have this here. And I'm going here to azcontoso.com. That's the name of my resource. And I'll go to this one, which goes, that's the DNS zone. And I need to create a record. So the first record was a CNAME. So I can just put the CNAME in here. And going back here, so it's AZ demo, the host that I want. And then, I need to put an alias, which is this alias that we have here. So there you go. See? So AZ demo, and then the alias is this, and the type is a CNAME, and we add this. I need another record. The other record was a text record, so I can just start it now. I can go back in here. I can now copy this bit here, drop this in the name, coming back in here, and I'll copy this to the clipboard, all that text, come in here, put it in the value, and press OK. When this is done, I go back to the app service, and there's a button here, magic button, like I like to call it, called validate, which when we press that, woo, happy days, it is done. Validation passed. So I can add my custom domain. And now this is adding my custom domain. Green is always good, but now we have red. So what this means that, yes, look, your domain is great. It's seen here, we fully configured it, but you do not have TLS configured. So we can't do HTTPS. And let's be honest, a custom domain with no HTTPS, it's not cool. So I really want to fix this. So solution, add the binding. You click add the binding. And now there are 4 different ways to solve this. You create a free app service managed certificate. Okay, so there is free certificates in Azure App Service. Just go on the comments and say if that's cool or not. Free certificates. So a lot of people, when we say free, oh, let's encrypt, and they only see let's encrypt. We don't need let's encrypt. No, let's encrypt is cool. Don't get me wrong, okay? But you just don't need it. You can just go in here and, just use this. And by the way, if you want to know more about that, go to tiagocosta.com. And I think it's like the second or third, article that I have here. Let me just see here. Yeah, there you go. It's this one here. Unlock free TLS certificates on your Azure App Service. So there's an article that I wrote about that. Okay, but in my case, I'm going to use this. Import an app service certificate because I have a certificate here, which is this. It's the only one that I have in demo environment, and I will add it. And you will see that this is it. Okay, you don't do anything more. I've just configured TLS, so I have HTTPS on my website. And I'm like, what? Really? This is from someone that used to do this in infrastructures on-prem, and it was way more complex than this. So, but now it's, just this. If you want to see what this certificate looks like, it looks like this. So this is my certificate, azcontoso.com. This is an app service certificate because the app service is not just the web apps. It's not just a plan. It's a bunch more stuff, okay? This here is an app service certificate that is, in my case, it's a wild card, as you can see there. So star.azcontoso. It basically has, it expires. It's 1 year, basically, what I have here for this. And virtually, just think in your mind, I want everyone to raise their hands to say, did you already had issues in your organizations? And then, someone said, oh, this is not working. You debugged why it wasn't working. And then you figure it out. Oh, it was a certificate somewhere that had expired. And basically people didn't renew it, didn't add it, or, whatever. Me. Okay, several times, okay? Look at this certificates. There is an option here called auto renew. So if you go here, there's a toggle that you need to turn on, and this will auto renew, and this will just be charged okay, into your app. Sorry, into your Azure subscriptions, okay, into your Azure bill. So there is no need, for you to go and buy something, services from another, provider. That in terms of, in the enterprise world, getting another supplier, it's sometimes not easy to get approvals and things like that. In here, no, it's auto renew. You pay together with your Azure bill. It's great, okay? But yeah, let's go to this, and let's grab this this domain, and let's try here in the browser, and let's try, and you see, ta-da, it's our app. It's here. It is running, okay? So I got a question here. Cool, but is binding for available for, I think the question is if I want to use a naked domain. I think that's that's the one. I think that's for a naked domain. So the thing is, yes. And by the way, again, making a shameless plug here, sorry about that. If you go to my website, this article here is kind of the updated article of another one that I had wrote some years ago. So if you search here for free, I think I don't have that much free stuff here. So there's maybe I have. So there's another article that I wrote so many years ago about the same thing. There you go. This is 31 of March. And on 31 of March, there you go. You can see here that there was no support for naked domains. Okay, let me just zoom again. But then they added it, João. Okay, so then lately they have added. So now you can even, on those free certificates, you can even add for those naked domains. Naked domains are like contoso.com, so without something on the left, okay, like www.contoso.com or app.contoso.com or something like this. So this was March 31, 2020, so some time ago. And this was not like written like 2 weeks ago or something like that. This one here, 13, well, maybe a little bit, maybe a month ago. And this was already supports that. Okay, cool. But yeah, good question, by the way. So there you go. We have this. So we have a custom domain, and this is how you configure a custom domain, like super easy. So now let's change gears a little bit. Let's talk about about configurations. Under configurations, it's where we can have your application settings, or we can have connection strings. And look, very simple. You can just put in here and say, hey, API key, and and then you just put here, let's imagine, an API key, like whatever, and you just add this. And there you go. It's here. And then your app, if they call for the environmental variable API key, you're going to get the value that you have here. But like I told you, this is not, the most secure way to deal with this kind of stuff. So I have a key vault. And there's a key vault here called TC Training Vault. And if I go to secrets, you can see that I have a secret here that is called API Key Demo. So let's grab this bit here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to edit this. I'm not going to have this in here. Okay. So let me just put for now this there. Let me just copy this because I always make a mistake on this. So let me just take this and copy this here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this bit here, and now I need to copy this and replace this little bit in here. Okay, there you go. So if you do something like this, okay, I'm saying to the app service, hey, integrate this, go to Key Vault, go to this training vault, grab a secret, which is this secret. And I press OK. And I'm going to press save, continue. And what you're going to see is that the source here, where it was app services, is going to change. it's going to change to key vault, but oops, there is something wrong in here. And if you over that and you try to debug, what's wrong is that this app service is not allowed to go to the key vault. So it's not authorized to go to the key vault. How can you authorize? Managed identities. So you go to identity, you create a system assigned managed identity. As you can see, it's really hard. 3 clicks and it's done. This actually created a service principal, which is an enterprise application in Entra ID, so formerly known as Azure Active Directory. And what I can do now is I can now go to my key vault. And this key vault, it's a really old key vault, so it still uses access policies, okay? So I can create here an access policy that I can say, I will allow a get in secrets. And now I can just say here, hey, find my managed identity, which is this. And you just created this. So I just authorized that app to go to the key vault and grab secrets. And sometimes this takes a couple of minutes. Sometimes it's faster. But if I go here now, this should be green, okay, in no time. Okay, we're not going to wait, but let me just do a Control F5 just to force a refresh. And if it doesn't work, we'll come here later, okay? But it will be in no time. It will be. Usually, to be honest, when I'm doing this, I first configure the authorization, and when I add the key near, it usually just stays green. And I can even force this. Let me copy this. Let me add another API key 2. And and if you do it this way, okay, this should show up green. Oh, it doesn't. Did I do this in the right API key? Let me have a look. What did I did wrong here? Microsoft.keyvault. Yeah, seems all right. Invalid syntax reference was not able to resolve because invalid reference syntax. See, there is something wrong in here. I know what it is. Tiago. You can't even copy, Tiago. I think I deleted the secret URI. Let me just do it here too. There you go. So there is always okay. There is always some reason. There you go. See, live debugging. Azure is easy. See? There you go. All good. So what can we do more? Let's go back here to our slides. So I have still a couple more cool things to show you, okay? Which is what? Scaling. So like I told you, my customer was like freaking out about scaling. Oh, Tiago, this actually needs to respond to all the load that we get. I said, yeah, it does. Don't worry about that. So there's scaling rules. And, for my customer, I was kind of chatting with them and saying, look, I know that you have predictable load. So you know that in certain periods, you actually need, okay, more capacity up front. You already know you're going to have more load. And then, there is other times that you just don't know. You might need, you might not need, it's a little bit of a big mix there. And this application, they also have a lot of integration with social networks, and sometimes they get viral and boom, the load explodes on the platform. And then, just gets down and there is this. So sure, I can configure this for predictable and unpredictable load. Unpredictable load, I need performance metrics, like, for example, CPU, memory queue, stuff like this. What will be the best? Well, depends on your app. If your application, for example, is an application that spends a lot and consumes a lot of CPU, so it's a CPU intensive application, definitely, okay, we need something that, you know, focus our metrics on the CPU. If it's more memory, you should focus your metrics on, you know, memory, because memory, it is what runs out first. So that, there you go. And then we can set up a minimal and maximal instance threshold, so that, you know, Tiago, this is premium, I can go up to 30 instances, great, but look, I can't afford more than 10. Okay, sure, let's put a max at 10. So with this, you know, let's do here another, you know, another demo with exactly that. So scaling. Ooh, I have here two options for scaling. One is called scale up, so vertical scaling. Vertical scaling is what? We click here and it shows up the pricing pages, and you can change this to a bigger instance size or a smaller instance size. So scale up to bigger, scale down to smaller sizes, but you still only have one. If I go scale out, this is where the fun starts. Because I can just say, you know what? This is going to be based on rules, and I have your rules. I can do custom auto scaling. And what I'm going to do here is scale based on a rule. And I'll look at, this is horrible, but you know, there's like a little link there to add the rule. And what I'm going to do is I'm selecting here the metric that I want. In my case, I want CPU. And then here, I'm just going to say greater than percentage. Okay. So for 10 minutes, I will collect every minute what is the percentage of CPU that is being spent. I will average it from the last 10 minutes. And if it is greater than 70, I will take action. Take action is what? Increase the number of instances by 1. There you go. It's exactly what I want. You need to be, let me just explain this. This is not enough. You need to also add another rule, because this will grow if you have demand, but you're not going to decrease the number of instances when you no longer have such a big demand. Don't be one of my customers that they got a huge bill for app services because one day they grow to 7 instances, and then during the rest of the month, they just stayed with 7 instances because they never put a rule to decrease the number of instances, or how do we call it? To scale in. But we are going to do that. Add a rule, CPU percentage. Here definitely is not greater than, it will be less than, and let's just say 35 here. And then the action will not be increase the count, it will be decrease the count by 1. And now, as you can see, we have a scale out and a scale in rules on, you know, on this. And this is where we define the instance limits. Like, okay, look, 1 is the minimal for me. Sometimes we have applications that we want to have at least 2 for high availability purposes. Yeah, if you want that, just do it. But you know, for me, that's enough for now for this demo. But I told you that we also have predictable demand. So I need to go here on the bottom and select here where it says add a scale condition. And when you add a scale condition in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want to scale to, let's just say 3. Okay. Repeat specific days. And in my case, let's just say Friday, Saturday, you know, from like 4 p.m. up to, I don't know, 8 p.m. Okay, so something like this. And so that we can just try it out, I think today is Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just put Wednesday too, because we are in this part. I'm where I am. You can see my clock. It's 5:46, where I'm currently am, and it matches, okay, the the range that I have here. Okay, so let's go with this. Let's save. And when we save this, so this is saved, and if we go in here and if see current instance is 1, and if I refresh, boom, 3. I have 3 instances already. Did I configure a load balancer? No. Did I configure like rules on the load balancer? No. Probes for the individual instances? No. Do I need to have to deploy the application to the 2 extra instances that I currently have? Nope. Got it? That's pretty cool. I don't know about your opinion, but I've been working with app services since like day 1 they were launched. And I still love this, and I still really feel this a lot. It's just like super cool, what I can have with this. Okay, so I got a question here that is from Miguel that says, if one of my web app instances become unhealthy due to code issues such as buffer, okay, to observe a high resource utilization in Azure Monitor, can I manually remove the unhealthy instances from the load balancer of this PaaS? Okay, that's a very good question. If you have basically, instances that for whatever reason really doesn't matter, they do not respond anymore. There is probes. The load balancers, they come with probes, and the probe will detect, well, this is not responding. And if it's not responding, it will be removed from the backend pool. And so they will replace that with a fresh instance. Okay, so it really doesn't matter why, it's going to be, but the load balancer of the app service will just take care of that for you. But yeah, but very good question that we got in here. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so that's scaling, but I still have time to show you one more thing. Okay, so let's do that. So I have like some extra slides here, which is to explain what it's basically to explain deployment slots, especially in terms of best practices when we are going to deploy things. And when I'm going to deploy, what I want is, imagine that I have something like this, and I have my web app here. I have production slots, master slots, stage slots, dev slots. You can have a bunch of slots, up to 5 on the standard tier, up to 20 on the other tiers. And imagine that I have, this is my Git repository. And let's just talk about this part here, my master or main branch. If I have my main branch here, you see that I'm not deploying my main branch to production. That's not happening. I've created here a deployment slot called master slot, main slot, pre-prod, call it whatever you want, okay? Really don't care. But never deployed to production. Imagine that this application takes, 2 minutes, the deployment process. If you deploy this from here to production, that means your application, it's going to be basically out for 2 minutes. But if you deploy to this other slot that we have here, well, actually, this still works. And then what you can do in here is you can then test this out, see, okay, everything is good, love it, let me swap with production. When you're doing the swap, there's no downtime. So basically, with this system like this, you can actually deploy into production for app services with a single instance, even without any downtime. Okay, so that's like, just like awesome stuff, that we can have with this. So really, really cool stuff. And look, it is not hard to do. Okay, it is definitely not hard to do. Look, creating a slot is just coming to deployment slots, and you can just add a slot here. Okay, and let me just call this like pre-prod, and then you just click add. That's how you create a slot. Okay, so it's really, really easy, just to create a slot. Then you can go on the slot. Okay, and it's just like another regular application. But let me just try to do one thing. When this is creating, let me try if I can push this to my application, if my application already shows up in here. Okay, there you go. There you go. It's here already. Let's just deploy to this. Deploy. Now it's deploying to production. Okay, I'm deploying directly into production, which is exactly what I told you not to do. Okay, but this is just a demo. And almost there, almost there. So almost there. Come on. Just cleaning up. There you go. So that means that if I go here to our, let's just go to this one here, to our main website. See, welcome Azure 0 to Hero, okay? And if you see here, this is even our custom domain and everything, right? So now let's imagine I'll go in here and, let me just come in here and then let's just say, let's put an H2 here. I do some changes, okay? A new feature, etc. Just let's put some text here to simulate, hey, we have done something. And now, if I say I want to deploy now to a slot, same thing, you need to select here the subscription, then you need to select the app. And now it's going to show up, the slots, and see pre-prod there. There you go. And then it's the same stuff. So now this is deploying to pre-prod. Let's just wait for this to deploy. Okay, there you go. So let's go in here. We can close this. If we go to the pre-prod slot and see, this is a web app, but it has that slot thing there. Also comes like this, like the name of the main app and then / the name of the slot. And if you see the URL of this, it's the name of the app dash the name of the slot.azurewebsites.net. And if I open this, you will see that there goes some changes. Oh, new feature. Oh, yeah, some typo here. But let's imagine, oh, this is good. We tested. Hey, it's all good. I want this in production. So what can you do? You can go to deployment slots, and then we can say swap. And when you say swap, pre-prod to production, let's just swap this. So it's actually swapping now. And let's just put this in here. Let's put this one in here. Okay, and this is one of the apps. I'm going to do Control F5. It's running. I'm doing refreshes in here. See, I can do privacy home, privacy home, privacy home, privacy home, privacy home, and this is just running. Okay, so there's no downtime on this. See, but if we wait, like a few more seconds, you will see that this here will start to show up some changes, new features on the right, which is production. So this is production, okay, on the right. So let's just do some more refreshes in here. Refreshes here. Let's see. This is still swapping. So the swap takes like a long time, but actually doesn't provoke, any downtime on our app. Okay. Oh, come on. I think we need to wait for this to finish. Performing swap. This is the worst demo that you can do with app services. Okay? Because usually sometimes if you do this without doing a demo live, it doesn't take so much time. But if you do a demo, I think app service feels that you're doing demos and it just takes longer. My God, it's taking forever. Pum, pum, pum. Let's try again. Oh my God. It's really taking a lot of time. Well, eventually it will show up. Okay. Cool. So usually, honestly, it doesn't take so much time, but I don't know what's wrong with this. Because there's nothing that I could have done wrong here, to be honest with you. Let me do one thing. Let me try this in another browser, like in incognito in Chrome. There you go. See, new feature is already here. Let me try now. Oh, there you go. So see, production gets the new stuff already. And if I now go to the left one and I do F5, this is the old one. Super cool. Okay, that we have with with this. Like, this is literally super easy to to set up. And look, this is still swapping here, but actually it's finished. Okay, it's probably just cleaning up some stuff behind the scenes. There's no downtime, and you can easily deploy stuff. So with this, we finish our our demo here. So thank you so much for for attending. And my name is Tiago, and this is how you can run HTTP based applications in PaaS services in Azure. Okay, thank you so much. Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, more than wonderful.
Yeah, and by the way, let me just say one thing. I honestly totally agree with Sasan that says, first rule of the world, don't let your computer know you're in a rush. like totally. It's yeah.
That's the true fact, right?
Yeah. No, I think that's the most important part of today's session, to be honest. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you so much, Tiago, because our community name is Microsoft Zero to Hero, okay? And you explain Azure App Service for the web application like Zero to Hero. Yep. And we learned a lot. It was amazing. We learned about all of important part of App Service. So I think after this session, everyone that watched this video, they can easily deploy different application easily inside Azure. So yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Theo. That was wonderful. So we have a surprise. So Tiago, you need to choose a question that we can give a 50% of free exam voucher. So which question do you think was the better and good question actually during the whole session?
I think I'll go for Miguel. Miguel gave a very, very, very cool question that make me think. So I think he
Great.
deserves. I think he deserves the prizes. The prize for
Wonderful.
sure.
So it's Miguel Perez. I
Yeah,
hope.
I think. Let me just see here. Miguel Perez, Quiroga. Quiroga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, Miguel, we will reach out to you to share your exam voucher and hopefully going for a new exam certification then.
Perfect. Yeah. If there is any questions, people, please shout out. Then Tiago is here to answer your question. Otherwise, we have to say thank you so much. There is okay. It says let me show it here. Will this video be available for download, store, watch again? Yes. If you follow us on YouTube channel, we always have all of recorded sessions plus this session, and it's available immediately in our channel. So don't miss that if you want to watch it again.
Yeah, we will also share the YouTube link in learning rooms and also on LinkedIn, so on the socials, so to keep the community people informed.
Yeah. And
Yep.
there is another one here.
For Miguel, questions: can we scale? Okay. So you are not going to be able to do it, Maria. But the Azure Autoscaler service behind the scenes, it will do it. But it actually doesn't remove the instance and does not replace it. It just replaces with another one. Okay. Automatically, so you don't have to worry about that. And then if for some reason you don't have many more load, it will do it later. Okay. When he actually needs to basically scale in to one less application. Okay. So it will take care of that. So if you need, let's imagine, four instances and one gets broken, it will replace that with another one immediately. And it's quite fast nowadays, app service, to do that. And then after, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, if he sees that he doesn't need four, only three, it will just do that. But that's an independent process. Okay. Hope I answered your question.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap up the session, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, someone was asking about my setup.
Yeah, I can show it in the screen. I guess.
Yeah,
It's
I
just a
honestly get requests a lot to do that. I think I need to do an overall year of the setup, because a lot of people ask me about that. I might write a blog post about it or record a video on TikTok or something like that. So just follow me on social networks, and one of the days I will post that. No promises when, to be honest. Okay, but I have like a huge list of blog articles and other videos to record now, but I'll do my best. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, we have a bunch of thank you and what else? They enjoyed the session, and yeah, just wanted to share with you because there are a lot of
Great
thank
feedback.
you in the comments.
Yeah.
Also in the chat and also on LinkedIn. So
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Then thank you so much for this session, and hope to see you again with another topic, Tiago. And yeah, thanks everyone.
thanks much.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. See you. Bye bye.
A great day. Cheers.